Three, two, one.
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. This is Sports Buds TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. But let's dive into it. A lot going on in the sports world, which means there's a lot for us to dive into here with Sports Talk. And in the NBA, we'll get started. You know, a lot going on in the association. The thick of the schedule, right, of the season. We're right in the middle of it. And we'll give you some of those marquee matchups that went on tonight, where we saw, to begin, the Suns taking care of business versus the Pacers. That final was, the score there was 112 to 94. Moving on, we have the 76ers beat the Celtics 111 to 99. And in a matchup where a lot of us were looking forward to, we saw the Warriors go up to Chicago. It wasn't even that close. The Warriors took care of business 138 to 96. One more marquee matchup would be the Heat taking care of business, beating the Hawks 124 to 118, excuse me. And then just a few minutes ago, it went final where the Mavs went up to the Grizzlies, the Grindhouse back in the day, and they beat the brakes out of them, right? 112 to 85. So that just went final. Again, in the thick of the NBA season, still quite a bit to be determined. But for example, that last matchup there, we saw the current third seed versus the current fifth seed. I don't think that moved around too much, the fifth seed beating that third seed. But, with those games that are still left, who knows where it might end up when it is all said and done. Go ahead and follow us on social media. You'll find us everywhere at SportsBuds TV, SportsBuds TV, or you can even send us an email at Gmail. Let me know what your thoughts are, what team you root for, and where you think, this NBA season will end up, and who will end up eventually becoming that champion. Speaking of champions, we will move into boxing. And in that boxing corner this week, we have a WBO light heavyweight championship bout between Joe Smith Jr. taking on the late replacement, Steve Jaffard. And this should be an interesting one. It's coming out of New York. I believe that is, I had that up here earlier. It's a casino out in New York. Here it is. It's the Turning Stone Resort and Casino in New York. This matchup is being brought to us by ESPN. So Saturday night, nothing like a good fight to, a boxing fight to wind up your night and get ready for, some action-packed, football. We'll have a few games that are already be in the bucket there, but we'll have a big Sunday to look forward to. But, before we get too ahead of ourselves, that matchup, Joe Smith Jr., the light heavyweight division, I say as a whole, is interesting right now. Pretty soon it may have all the bright lights on it. If you're following boxing, the cash cow, Canelo Alvarez, has not yet decided whether he'll stay at 168, whether he's going to go up to that cruiserweight fight, with the guy he wanted to fight from the WBC. He has a mandatory matchup he has to take care of first. So it's not really set where he'll end up, right? The WBC light heavyweight champion currently. With that in mind, that would be the cruiserweight champion from the WBC. Not too sure where he may end up having to face that mandatory here in a couple of weeks. Canelo has options. He's already fought at light heavyweight. Would he go back up there? Some, are thinking he would, having just, conquered the 168 division, becoming undisputed in less than a calendar year, right? So a lot for him to decide. Nothing official, but with that light heavyweight championship being on the line, the WBO one, that's something to look out for. Joe Smith Jr. retains. Is he now all of a sudden, the next person to put his name into that hat, into that sweepstakes, that chance to take on the cash cow and make yourself a multi-millionaire. With that, it's quite a few expectations, that are probably on his shoulders. I mean, he's been through it all, you would assume, having, being that the fact that he actually beat Bernard Hopkins in Bernard's last fight. Joe Smith Jr., I don't think the moment would be too big for him, but it'd be nice to see tomorrow, him showcase some of those talents that have made him so great. And who knows, maybe we end up seeing him get that next shot. But to wrap things up for today, we have the big one, right? With the NFL, NFL's king. The playoffs are here. Wild card weekend. Let's go. I'm repping. You guys already know they're up here. So, I'm going with the good guys. Now, we've got some time because they're actually the last, game on the slate here. But let's go ahead and dive into it. Kicking things off for us tomorrow, and I'm going to give you my predictions right now. We have the Raiders versus the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals to win that. Then we actually have to, cap up Saturday night's games there. The Bills will take on the Patriots. I'm going to take the Bills. And then we move on to Sunday where we have three big games there. The Eagles facing the Buccaneers. I'm going to take the Buccaneers. And, of course, a big rivalry game. We haven't seen that in the playoffs in quite a few years. The 49ers take on the Cowboys. I'm going to take the 49ers to beat them. And then to wrap up Sunday night, it'll be the Steelers versus the Chiefs. What may be Big Ben's last game, right? I'm going to take the Chiefs. And finally, Monday night's game, the Cardinals versus the Rams. They've already played twice, right? They've split. It's only right that they have a round 3 to decide, who gets to move on to the divisional round. I'm going to go with the Rams to go ahead and win. And we'll see, depending on what, the outcomes are, what at the end of the day are the lower seeds. We'll know who actually plays who the following week. So let me know with you, with your thoughts are, who you're predicting to move on from the wild card weekend. Not only that, but we talked boxing, we talked NBA. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on every single one of the topics we mentioned today. But until next time, this has been Sports Buds TV. I'm your guy, Serge. Don't forget to follow us on social media, send us an email, and we'll see you all on the next one.